Welcome to Agenda Edina, a news program summarizing the actions taken in these chambers that affect you most. I'm your host, Dorothea Marty. A new home for Edina's Public Works and Engineering departments took another step closer to reality last month when a construction manager was named for the project. In May, the city closed on the old ConAgra microwave popcorn factory located at 7450 Metro Boulevard. Renovation of the property for use as a public works facility began in July with asbestos and hazardous building material removal and some demolition. City staff interviewed a number of construction management firms for the project before selecting YEA Garden, which provides initial services such as construction estimates for the new facility. While the future of the existing public works site is still undecided, part of an adjacent property could become the site of a new water treatment facility. Edina's Public Works Department currently uses the lower level of a municipal parking ramp behind Jerry's Foods and Hardware for storage. City staff has proposed turning 2/3 of that space into a much-needed water treatment plant once all public works operations have been relocated to the new facility. Water from multiple city wells could then be pumped to the plant and treated. Officials say that building the plant in a commercial area is much more desirable than placing it in a residential district. An adjacent aeration tower would also be constructed on the north side of the ramp as part of the plan. The tower would allow water from Well 7, which has been offline for several years, to be used again. Similar towers are present in other Minnesota cities, including Blaine. The council has authorized the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency to design the water treatment plant. Design is expected to cost $500,000, which the MPCA will fund. If approved, the city would pay for the construction of the facility. A bigger parking lot for a bigger maintenance building. That's what Interlace Country Club now has permission to build, thanks to a recent green light by the Edina City Council. The country club was granted a conditional use permit from the city to expand an existing parking lot in conjunction with a new 16,000 square foot maintenance building. The new parking lot is to be located on the east side of the new building and just to the west of an 1,800 square foot caddy lounge, addition to an existing cart storage building. The new building will resemble the design and materials of the clubhouse. 2 existing single-family homes owned by the country club and the existing maintenance facility will be razed for the project. The new maintenance building will be accessed from an existing interior road off Interlace Boulevard and Waterman Avenue. There will be no access off Maloney Avenue or Belmore Lane. The plan was approved with a number of conditions, including approved landscape and lighting plans. However, since the approval, Interlace has decided to delay the project, citing the downturn in the economy.
I think once it all gets done, we are building a short game practice area in the area just north of it, and that should be done by late September. And I think next year when that opens up to the neighbors that can view it, it'll be a lot more beautifying the neighborhood than it was before.
A youth group's plan to use a portion of a park for an organic garden has wilted. To educate youth about entrepreneurism and how to grow organic vegetables, the park board recommended the city allow nonprofit group YEA Corps to use a portion of a city park for a garden on a 1-year trial basis. YEA Corps requested a 12 by 16 foot plot of land at Chowan Park for the garden, which would be pesticide-free and maintained by youth volunteers. Water was to be provided by a neighbor. Some members of the council expressed concern that such use would set a precedent and directed staff to prepare a policy for community gardens. If such a policy is approved and the YEA Corps project fits within its guidelines, the garden could be considered again in 2010. An environmental review is underway to help identify potential 9 Mile Creek Regional Trail segments in Edina. The trail, set to travel through Hopkins, Edina, and Richfield, will connect to the popular Minnesota River Bluffs LRT Regional Trail in Hopkins and to the Minneapolis Grand Rounds Trail Network, as well as the Minnesota River Valley in Minneapolis and Bloomington. Three Rivers Park District and the City of Edina are in the process of identifying and assessing potential trail routes through the city. Within Edina, two of the primary goals of the trail are to connect the Edina High School campus and the newly created Edina Promenade near Centennial Lakes. There are several routes under consideration, including routes adjacent to roads and to 9 Mile Creek. The results of the environmental review, which should be complete this fall, will provide data that will help determine a preferred route.
I'm trying to determine which is the best route, what works best for the city of Edina and for the region. And to do that, we're doing an environmental assessment worksheet for all segments, trying to figure out environmental impacts as well as social impacts along both sets of alignments.
Regional trails are typically 10 feet wide, paved and open for use by bicyclists, walkers, runners, inline skaters, dog walkers, and other non-motorized users. 9 Mile Creek Regional Trail will be developed and operated by Three Rivers Park District, and when completed will be part of the district's regional trail network, which currently features more than 90 miles of trail across Hennepin County. Family Circle magazine recently announced the results of its exclusive survey to identify the best towns and cities across the country for families. And it's no surprise, Edina is near the top. Here to tell us more is Edina 16's Brian Smith.
When thinking about one of the greatest places to live, Edina residents know there's no place like home.
Oh, the convenience. Everything is so close. The people, they're so friendly here.
Family Circle magazine seems to agree, naming Edina one of the 10 best towns for families in the United States.
There's so many family-friendly things to do in the city. I can't imagine living anywhere else. It's just a great community.
It's an honor to be part of a community that has such a strong tradition. I mean, this isn't something that happened overnight.
I think Edina is just a great place to live. It offers so much in terms of the value to the family.
Education, young people have always been a priority of our community, and I think this award just demonstrates that one more time.
I know people here and their kids are very happy in the school district.
I love the idea that we're raising our kids to be global citizens. So they're not just going to be raised here and stay here in Minnesota or stay here in Edina, but those languages that they're getting and that broad education, that excellent education that Edina is giving them, is going to make them fit in wherever they end up after college.
It's apparent that it's the people in this community that really make Edina such a great place to live and raise a family.
I think Edina has it figured out. I think they've always had it figured out, that they really do know it's about community, and it's about community coming together during tough times and during celebrations, but we need to be together.
Marty Dahl and Brian Smith, Edina 16.
Of course, we've known for a long time what a great community Edina is for raising families. It's nice to see the rest of the nation take notice. Thanks for watching this month's episode of Agenda Edina. I'm your host, Dorothea Marty.